What an absolutely insane day yesterday was. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're going to be taking a look into what happened yesterday with Palantir. So we will be taking a look at that stock chart, which you can see is quite simply insane. Okay, we will see the volume, and we are of course going to go through their quarter. So the earnings went very well in my opinion. I think a lot of Palantir investors will agree. I think a lot of good news came out of it as well, particularly when we did get to the Q&A section. Nothing incredibly new or incredibly exciting to come out of it, but there was also no upsets. The only upset realistically was pre-market when this huge drop happened, but that happened market wide yesterday. It was one of the most insane days I've seen in the stock market. Virgin Galactic was down more than 20% on the day and closed in the green. I mean, in what world does that make any sense? If you go and have a look at Palantir as well, I mean, they were down. I know because I was watching it all day, above 10. I believe they hit 11% in the red at one stage. What a recovery on the day to close nearly up 10% from where they opened. That is insane. Up nearly 20% on the actual day. That doesn't make any sense. You will see the watch list on the right side of the screen here. Pretty much everything was green. Pre-market, pretty much everything was red, and not just a little bit, really red. Today's pre-market is looking quite poor again. You'll see Nasdaq's lagging, then the S&P, and then the Dow's in front, but everything's down pretty much, and growth in general is down a little bit too. But that's not the main things I want to speak about today. We want to speak about Palantir's Q1 earnings, what I think of them, what I think of the price they are at right now, and ultimately if I plan on buying more. I would like to premise the video by saying I am long on Palantir. I hold a position. I initially bought them, I think it was in the 12s or 13s. I've bought them in the 20s, the mid 20s, and I'll buy them again. And I plan on holding them for 3 to 5 years. So the short-term fluctuations don't bother me all that much. So right before we do get into the video, we take a look at what happened. Can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, my friends? The support on the channel has actually been great the last few days, so I really do appreciate you guys and all of that support. Drop me a comment, let me know what you're doing with Palantir right now. Are you a bystander watching from the sidelines? Are you buying more? Are you just holding your position strong? And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, consider hitting that juicy red subscribe button and joining the family of investors. Also, if you are interested in joining my private Discord group, that will be the first link in the description. In there you get access to all of my buy and sell alerts, join an awesome community of people who love speaking about stocks such as Palantir. And if you like 2 free stocks on Webull, hit the second link in the description, sign up, deposit $100, get some free money for yourself. So I think before we even get into the earnings, let's just take a look at that chart. So in the pre-market, you will see us go from about 1860 all the way down to 1634. And then in one 4-hour candle, we go from 1634 all the way up here to nearly $20 a share before closing at about $20.55. Wow. Now, Palantir's been a crazy one to follow. If you've been here from the start, you'll know there was this considerable period of consolidation right when they first went public, okay? There was an upward move. There was always anxiety about, when the insiders could sell their shares. And, that led to some big up moves and some big down moves. And then the broader growth stock market was crashing, as we can see by the likes of RK being down, hugely down, nearly 35% in just over a month or two. Closer to 3 months, my apologies. You can see Palantir had this general period of consolidation, but ultimately they were trading below, areas of support for a considerable period of time. They broke down, and there was a very fast rebound. If you look at the volume yesterday, look at that volume, 200 million compared to our average volume. Wow. Pretty much 2.5 times the normal amount of shares traded just happened yesterday alone. That is huge volume, my friends. Now, there were many stocks yesterday who saw this. Look at Virgin Galactic, 35 million compared to average volume of 12 million. The list goes on and on. But something's up with this volume, not just for Palantir, but market-wide. So that's the basics of what happened price action. I mean, there's a very prominent area at about 23.50 that I would personally really like to see it make its way towards. But I don't think that's going to happen until, the market sentiment in general starts to shift and some more money starts being put into these growth stocks in general. But realistically, off the back of yesterday's good earnings, we came out more or less net neutral. Not a lot happened. But a lot did happen with Palantir in the last quarter. So we can just start it off with the highlights, okay? They report 49% revenue growth, $117 million in cash flow from operations, up $404 million year over year, and $151 million in adjusted free cash flow, up $441 million year over year for Q1 2021. Right off the bat. Awesome. US commercial revenue grew 72% year over year, and one of the more important things in this entire report is the US government revenue grew 83% year over year. Cash flow from operations, as we just said, and adjusted free cash flow such huge improvements. Top net loss per share diluted of -7 cents, adjusted EPS diluted of 4 cents. Now for Q2, expected 360 million in revenue, represent year-over-year growth of 43%, sticking true to what they've told us. An adjusted operating margin of 23%. So again, we're just looking for some steady growth here. Nothing crazy, you know, it's not like this company is trying to make its name in a quarter, but they're looking at this steady, consistent growth. And if you listen to the earnings call, you'll be very aware of that. For full year 2021, adjusted free cash flow in excess of $150 million. Awesome. Happy days. Everybody's going to be happy with that. Continue to expect annual revenue growth of 30% or greater for 2021 through 2025 to ultimately get them to that 2025 goal of 4 billion. Just some more numbers just to give you an idea of the actual growth that's happening. You will see in front of me, in Q1, we grew billings by 248% year over year to $362 million, resulting in higher than expected cash flow. 248% billings growth year over year. Q1, our total US revenue grew by 81% year over year. Again, these are just huge numbers, my friends. Now, we won't get too into what they had to say about the tech. If you're a Palantir follower, you should be aware of these things. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the revenue growth, the cash flow growth, etc., it is all absolutely fantastic. Now, I got my headphones on and I'm going to play you guys a short clip that I really enjoyed from the call, from the Q&A section in particular. You can see there was a very long Q&A section. I'm not going to make you listen to it all, obviously, but just listen for the next few seconds.
We're in the top 3 of software companies for Q1. But I think actually the most important thing is to realize that we're just at the beginning. We only have a handful of Fortune 500 companies. We are just starting to...
They paused that for a second, but that in itself, the fact that they're just at the beginning and they only have a handful of the Fortune 500 companies, and we are already seeing this level of growth. And we know through this earnings call, through what the company has been telling us for a considerable period of time, they are working on getting much more of these customers on board. So when you see these levels of growth, and it is only the beginning, I know they've been in business a long time, relatively close to 2 decades, but still, in a sense, it is only the beginning. They're in an incredible position is essentially what I'm trying to get at right here. I'm just going to let a few more seconds play out.
To move down market to medium-sized enterprises. Our government revenue is less than 10 basis points, less than 0.1% of U.S. defense spending. We have so much exciting product vision to invest in. There's just a huge market to go after, and the most prudent thing to do is to invest aggressively to go after it. And that's what we're doing. We aren't focused on profitability. We're focused on growth. We're focused on generating in excess of $4 billion in revenue in 2025, as Alex outlined earlier this year.
So you see the vision, my friends? You see how much room there is to grow, and you see the steps that they're taking to do it. And as you said, they're only really beginning to downstream into those more medium to small size businesses as of right now, which opens them up to an absolutely huge market. They've brought up to 4 billion in revenue by 2025 on numerous occasions, and up until now, they've kept up with the targets that need to be hit in order to get there. And I have expressed that I personally believe that target may end up being exceeded quite considerably. I think it could be a low estimate. But I'm not upset about that, because I would rather them under promise and over deliver as opposed to over promise and under deliver, which seems to be something that Palantir is quite good at, which is hard to say for a lot of tech related companies. So just keep those things in mind for me as we go back and look through a little bit more of the actual business update. So our platforms serve as the modern operating system for the enterprises, including companies of all sizes and at all stages. So when most people think of Palantir, you think of big government agencies, you think of the army, you think of the NHS, you think of them helping with the vaccine rollout, etc. They want to be available to companies of all sizes and all stages, and it makes sense. And especially from an investor's point of view, it makes sense. It gives them a much bigger total addressable market, which is something you really want, especially when they are setting themselves these hyper growth targets quarter over quarter and year over year for the next 4+ years. Now, small business and medium business aside, this is also something I'd love to see. Our government business continues to grow quickly. In Q1 2021, we grew government revenue by 76%, fueled largely by 83% growth in the US government business. Excellent. As of this moment in time, we need to see this continuing to happen. But look at that year-over-year growth. It's incredible, my friends. And the list of contracts goes on and on and on. Now, one more thing in regards to the medium and smaller size businesses. In Q1 alone, we hired nearly 50 new salespeople. Awesome. That is what we need to see. And if you listen to the earnings call, they sound very excited about this. And one more very exciting thing, Palantir Unlock. We are emancipating data from legacy systems and proprietary data models and delivering it in any open source format at no cost to Western companies that are core to the economy, employ large numbers of people, and crucial to the restart. This is almost certainly going to lead to at least some sort of very large contracts down the line. And we'll also have a lot more people aware that Palantir exists and they're not just for the NHS and the US government. So all in all, when we take a look at it, when we see the highlights, when the charts just show us the growth, when we see that we're getting these new contracts on a bi-weekly or monthly basis, when we can see that the government numbers are going up, we can see that, you know, revenue is going up, adjusted operating income, adjusted free cash flow. We can see that we are now much more so targeting medium and smaller sized businesses after hiring 50 new staff and looking to have 100 sales staff, I believe, by the end of this year. You can see there's still a lot of growth to happen. And one nice thing is we're catching Palantir at a relatively, you know, growth phase of its life cycle. I know it's only gone public recently, but it is now growing very quickly. And a lot of the time when you get into a company that's just recently IPO'd, especially if it's on the more speculative side of things, you're not going to see numbers like this. You're not going to see positive numbers very much whatsoever. So Palantir gives us a unique opportunity where it's a company that is extraordinarily disruptive, but it's also making good money. Stock-based compensation aside, they are making profit as it stands. Looking towards 4 billion in revenue by 2025. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. The growth at the end of the day is absolutely huge at this stage, and it's simply put, can't really be ignored. And it's why this is one of the very few companies I have been happy to buy over the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of falling knives out there, as people would like to say. And I agree, there is an awful lot of falling knives. Palantir may be one of them. The large majority of growth right now probably are falling knives. But this is a fallen knife I'm willing to try catch because I genuinely believe that the upside reward is going to be very, very juicy. Now, if you haven't yet, I do highly recommend you go back and, you know, listen to the entirety of this earnings call. You will learn quite a lot about Palantir from it, especially the Q&A section. But of course, I'm not going to do that in today's video. I did actually go live to do it. When I look at the price action, again, to me, I don't think it's fair to say that Palantir is cheap in the short term at the very least. I don't think it's fair to say that the majority of these growth stocks that even have been beat up are cheap in the short term. Given the current market conditions, they're not realistically. What I do think is fair to say is that in the long time, with a 3 to 5 plus year outlook, Palantir is very, very cheap, even at this $20 mark. The market cap somewhere around 37 billion as of right now. I mean, revenue is growing extraordinarily quickly. We're hiring more. We have huge government contracts. I think it's a very, very exciting place to be right now. And funnily enough, even as I have seen Palantir go down, it's one stock that when I look at my portfolio, I don't worry about at all, even though I do have a decent bit of money in there and I'm probably going to add more, and it's at the stage where it's going to become one of my bigger positions. I don't think enough people are appreciating just how disruptive they could be down the line. But anyway, my friends, I think that's all I need to say in today's video. If you have watched this video all the way to the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed, perhaps took some value, some insight, or some entertainment, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, maybe drop me a little comment down below, and subscribe if you're new around here. It'll all mean a lot to me. And again, if you're interested in that private Discord group, that's the first link. And if you like those free stocks, that's the second link. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I will see you for another video very soon. I hope the stock market's treating you well, and I hope, on a personal note, you're just having a good day. Anyway, guys, I will see you all soon. Peace.